Hello, good morning students. Welcome back to our channel where we have our English class. Today we have conversation class, as you can read. My name is teacher Fernanda. I'm very happy and grateful to be here with you today in another week, in another class. It has been an amazing week. It has been a very beautiful week and I hope it keeps being like that. So today's class is going to be about being responsible to animals, because animals are a very important part of our world and we must take care of them in a way that they deserve it. Animals deserve to be treated with respect, they deserve to be treated with dignity, and we're going to check a little bit on that topic. First, we have the introduction here. Introduction is that all animals thrive in their own natural habitats. In the wild animals are able to fulfill all their physical and psychological needs by relying on their own instincts. They are free to roam and find food, fresh water, exercise, interact, and play with other animals in their group. They are able to lead naturally and healthy lives. So in the wild, animals are free to fulfill their needs. They can fulfill their physical needs as their basic needs, such as, so it means that they can fulfill the basic instincts such as eating, drinking water, reproduction, or socializing between their groups, but they also can lead a naturally happy life. It means that they can reach their goals in nutrition, in safety, in an environment that is suitable for them, because it's their natural habitat. It is made for them to be there. Animals in our lives. Throughout human civilization, people have also needed the help of animals in our lives. Horses are used as work animal in many societies. Dogs help humans with hunting and protecting property. Cats have been long used to keep rats away from the fields. Some farm animals like chickens and cows are consumed by animals from their protein, as well as the captive wild animals kept in places like zoos, for what some groups claim to be essential for public education purposes. So animals in our lives have been, they have been in our lives for since the beginning of human civilization. So we have counted on them from a long time. We have used them as work animals like horses or donkeys. We have used dogs and cats as company animals, as domestic animals, as pets, and many other kinds of animals as food. Yes, as a nutrient source. And we stock cows and pigs and chickens. We grow them in farms, and sheep for our needs. For example, to eat their meat, their milk, their eggs. We also grow fish in some special farms where you can farm fish to eat them as well, and to have them as pets. And we have used the help of animals as I said before, since the beginning of our civilization, of our society. But we have also imprisoned them in what we call them zoos. Well, zoos, we have here a lot of points of view towards zoos. Some groups claim that they are essential for public education, because students and other groups that study animals can go and reach to them, to their behavior, to know how they are, how do they behave. But we also know that zoos are not their natural environment, so it can be counterproducent for the animal to be in a zoo, and it can be very bad for them to be there for a very long amount of time. Our duty to animals. We have a responsibility to ensure that animals' physical and psychological well-being are well cared for. There's no living being exactly quite like another. Yes, we are all different as living things. Animals are not the same as humans, humans are not the same as plants, but remember that we all need to be treated with respect. And therefore, it's irrational to differentiate treatment from other living creatures based on its rationality. The responsibility that we bear is none other than the responsibility to respect the welfare of animals. So here, what I'm trying to say is we are different from animals in so many ways. We are very, very different. There are plenty of differences between us and animals. But we must remember that we have to respect life in every way. And animals are a kind of life that deserves all of our respect, and it deserves to be treated with dignity, with all the dignity in the world. Especially when we share so much with them. They share with us. They share their home with us. They share their planet with us. So that's why we must have that sense of respect to them. How can we help animals from home? Okay, so as we read, we need to ensure animals' physical and psychological well-being. We know that animals don't have complex, rational processes like humans, but they have their psychological needs based on their behavior instincts and their suffering and pain. So we must make sure that they don't suffer and they don't get in pain. So we can help animals from home by knowing how to become better owners with our pets and domestic animals, those animals that are in our charge. So the next requirements are the ones that we need to follow in order to fulfill our pet's needs. Let's remember that having a pet, it's a big responsibility. And we should take it serious because it's a life that we're taking care of. So that life is one that we must respect, as I said before, but also nurture. We need to raise this animal in a way that we can say it's a happy animal. We must make sure that this animal is growing safely and nicely in an environment of respect and kindness to it. Pets need an adequate shelter, so we're going to check the requirements for our pets, for to fulfill our pets' needs. So animals must be given suitable accommodation that provides adequate shelter, a comfortable resting area, adequate lighting, adequate ventilation, and adequate space to exercise, a temperature controlled environment if appropriate, a safe and secure place. All reasonable steps must be also taken to ensure nothing is present in the environment that can cause injury or detrimental to the animal's health, such as sharp objects or poisonous plants. So let's remember that this adequate shelter is a place in which these animals can grow and stay safe. They need an adequate shelter in a way that it fulfills their physical needs. For example, a place where they can rest, which is big enough for them to rest. Adequate lighting, it is mostly, for example, for that pet to get the heat they need. If it's an animal that needs heat. Adequate ventilation for them to get the right amount of oxygen in their bodies. An adequate space to exercise, a place where they can move freely, they can move in any direction they want to. A temperature controlled environment if appropriate. It means, for example, some animals can't regulate their own temperature, such as lizards or reptiles in general. So if we have one of those, we need to make sure that the temperature is regulated for them to be comfortable, to be alright. A safe and secure place, being careful that that place doesn't have anything that can damage the animal. For example, if you, for example, with dogs, if you have plants outside your house that you know that your dog can eat, and that plant is going to be dangerous for your dog, then you need to take the responsibility of taking care of your dog and getting rid of those plants who are dangerous to your dog. So this refers to, or for example, if you have a little bunny and you have a, if you have small pieces of things in the floor and you don't pick them up, the bunny has the risk of eating those pieces of material that are on the floor, and they could get sick. Patients need a suitable diet. Okay, this part is very important because we're going to talk about the example of dogs in a minute. Let me read it first. Animals must be provided with an adequate and suitable diet, including access to fresh water unless a vet directs otherwise, and a balanced diet that meets all the animal's nutritional needs, which vary at different stages of life. The amount of food given must be appropriate for the animal to maintain its correct body condition, not too thin or too fat. All food must be wholesome and not injurious to the animal's health. So in here, at least in Mexico or in places near here, we've got the custom. It is normal for us to give dogs anything that is on the floor. You have soup, you give it to the floor. You have X thing and you give it to the floor. You have anything and you give it to the dog. But which is wrong, because dogs have nutritional needs that they need to carry on, and they have there are foods that dogs can't eat because they are dangerous for their health. So this is a point that we need to remember with any animal we have. There are foods that animals can't eat, and we need to follow the diets that veterinarians recommend to our dogs, to our animals, because this way they can be healthy. They can be in an adequate condition, not thin, like very thin, because it would be bad for them to not eat as much as they need. But they can't be very fat either, because when an animal gets very fat, it could be dangerous for their health too. And as I said before, there are some foods that are dangerous for so many animals, as well as the food that veterinarians give, or food that is special for these animals, has the nutrients that these animals need for them to carry on a healthy life. And remember that water is very, very important for animals as well. Here we have an example of some things animals can eat. For example, if you can see, all this food is special. It's special for these animals. They are not eating things that we think. As humans, we watch in TV, we watch in movies that some animals eat these things. For example, that bunnies eat carrots, which we should check first, because if we just give them the carrots, maybe it's bad for them, for their health. So we need to check first which foods they can eat, for us to maybe give them a chance to give it a taste. But if we don't do it and we just do whatever we want to, we just give whatever we want to our animals, it could be dangerous for them. And remember that it depends also in the stage of life they are in. A baby animal is not going to eat the same as an adult animal, or the same amount of food. It also depends in how big your animal is. For example, a big animal is not going to eat the same as a small animal, or this animal is not going to eat the same as this, or this animal is not going to eat the same as this. Even though they are similar, they are in the same family of animals, they are not going to eat the same. So we need to check we need to check our facts with our veterinarian before we give something to our animals, to our pets. Pets need the ability to express normal behavior. All animals must be able to exhibit normal behavior patterns. Behavior patterns vary depending on the species of the animal. The ability to play and interact is particularly important for many young animals, such as dogs, horses, and pigs, as it allows them to learn how to socialize, communicate, and interact with other animals and people properly. Being able to express normal behavior also helps prevent animals becoming bored, stressed, and frustrated. So, as humans, we get angry when we see our dogs playing with our shoes when they are small, when they're young, eh, playing with their shoes or playing with our things, and or maybe even destroying some things that we have. But the thing is that as dogs they are playing. It's normal for them. It's a normal behavior for them, and they need to be free. They must be feel free to do these things, to learn to socialize with other animals, with people, because that's how they're going to behave the rest of their lives when they're young. So if we don't allow them if we don't let them be, they're going to become frustrated animals. They're going to become bored. Maybe they're going to become aggressive because they can't express normally. Pets need to be housed with or apart from other animals. Social interaction is very important for many animals, but it is also important to remember that some animals prefer to live alone. Where many animals are fed together, sufficient feeding space must be provided to ensure all animals can get a fair share of food. So we must remember that the social interaction for animals is very important as well as for humans. As humans need to socialize with other humans, we need to make friends. It's also the same for, well, not exactly the same, but it's also important for animals to socialize with other animals. But the thing is that we must remember that there are some animals that don't want to socialize with other animals. So we shouldn't obligate them, we shouldn't force them to socialize with other animals because we want to watch them socialize. If you put a cat and a dog together because you watch a YouTube video where they do it and it's absolutely cute, you shouldn't do it at home because you don't know you won't know how they are going to react to this interaction. So any socializing must be natural, non-forced. If you force an animal to socialize with another animal, it's probably it is going to get aggressive. So everything should be should be natural, not forced, because then the animal is going to be pressured to do so. And where many animals are fed together, we must have sufficient feeding space, because then if we have a lot of animals and we have only a plate of feeding, for example, if you have 5 dogs and you only have a plate of food, those dogs are going to get angry and they're going to fight against each other for the food. So it is the same with all animals. They should have their own space to eat. Pets need to be protected from pain, injury, suffering, or disease. All animals must be regularly checked for signs of suffering, injury, and disease. Where any welfare problems are around, prompt action must be taken, including seeking veterinary advice where appropriate. So when our pet is sick, or if they've got in an accident, or if we notice that they are suffering, we must take them to the doctor. Well, in this case, to the with the veterinarian, because that way their welfare is going to be assured. If we see our dog which is sick, it hasn't eaten for days, it looks bad, it looks sad, it is crying, then we're going to get worried about our dog. We're going to be like, what is happening with our dog? But the thing is that we must take them to the veterinarian. That way, the veterinarian is the only one that can, the vet is the only one that can make, that can give us an answer to our question about our pet's safety and our pet's health. If we just watch YouTube videos, or if we just check on the internet what's wrong with our pets, we can't have a 100% certain answer, because we must remember that that vets need to explore animals in order for them to get a better idea of what is going on with them. They need to make a physical exploration with the pets. For they need the observation for them to know what's wrong with our pets. It is important for us to take our pets to the vet, because if we don't do so, then or it's probable that our pet is going to get even it is going to get more it is going to get it is going to get sick, and it's going to be very, very sick. So its welfare is going to be in danger, and it has a higher chance to suffer. And we don't want our pets to suffer. We want them to be alright. We want them to be alright. We want them to be safe. We want them to be happy. The thing that pets need the most is love. If you don't love your pets, whenever it's a dog, it's a cat, it's a fish, it's mice, it's mouse, it's a horse, it's anything, you must make sure that you love your pets a lot, because that way you will care for your pet. You will have the responsibility and the commitment to take care of your pet. Taking care of your pets is very important, because they are not toys. They are living beings who need care, and they need love, and they need food. They need a lot of things. But that way they can be, but if you fulfill their needs, they could grow healthy, they could grow strong. And this is 100% sure, they are going to give you a lot of love and affection, because the love of a pet for you is going to be loyal. They are loyal forever. So that's why dogs. So that's why you need to take care of your pets. So remember that pets must be taken care of. They're not toys. They're not only to play. Only when when they're babies, or when they are young, when they are babies, when they are young. A pet is a commitment for forever. So if you are taking care of a pet, remember that it's not about remember that it's about what that pet needs. Remember that it's all about what that pet needs to grow healthy and to grow strong. So that will be all for today. I want to thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask us, and we will be happy to help you. Thanks a lot, and I hope you have an amazing and beautiful weekend. Thank you very much, and I'll see you around. We'll see you later.